getting in real estate. I appreciate all of you who've showed up on time. So before we get started, why doesn't everyone share a win? Something good that's happened to them in the last 7 days, whether it be in their business or personal life. And the reason I share this is I'm a big believer of pretty much we're all the same people, right? Anyone can take action, anyone can be inspired by somebody, and sharing wins is a good way for someone to connect to something else. A lot of times I found in coaching sessions, people in sharing the wins have been like, you know what, I've been trying to think about what to focus on and I want to focus on that. So drop a win in. There's over 100 people in here, so there should be some good answers. And don't be shy. Getting connected to hundreds of agents, 2 new contracts, 1 new contract, and a lot of people that don't seem like they want to type anything. Happy. Getting through the 10 by 10, that in itself is a win. Here we go. Russell, I like that. I'm alive. New buyer client at Starbucks. Now that's good. Hearing my baby's heartbeat. I think that is definitely my favorite. Starbucks lead generation. See, so the reason I do this is someone's going to reach out to a couple of you who said Starbucks, and this is how really networking in the Zoom, I call Zoom like my Tinder box. You know, it's a good way for people to connect with each other, meet with each other, share stories. All right, we'll get started now. Deb, they can all see my screen. Give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay. So everyone, welcome. I could not be more excited to share with you guys today about the 2022 Blueprint, which really is a comprehensive action plan to grow your business without stress. And for some of you, I might be new to, so let me just take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Chirag Shah. I'm the founder of Chirag Shah Coaching. Previously, I got to Compass in 2018 as the director of coaching and training. So I worked 2 years, and as you can see, I've traveled through retreat presentations. I've worked with Robert. I'm the co-creator of the Robert Refkin Action Plan. And in 2020, I opened up my own company exclusively for Compass agents. And Friday actually is our 2-year anniversary. And it's interesting to kind of reflect backwards. You know, I got my real estate license when I was 23 years old. So I spent about 40% of my human life selling real estate. So all the tools and all the things that you have access to at Compass was always my dream as an agent. And I think that's what really makes me an effective coach and ultimately listener. And when we think about coaching and philosophies, I think about cell phones, right? A lot of people either they'll have an iPhone, an Android, or some people even have a Microsoft phone, but you're buying that phone for the specific operating system. And I think the biggest challenge that agents have in coaching is that you could go to all these different coaching companies, but they all operate on different operating systems. For us, since we only exclusively work for Compass agents, our operating system for entire business, in essence, is in alignment with what you came to your brokerage for. Compass, the culture, the tools, the staff, the training. And when I think about what we offer as a company, it's a direct extension of what you get at your brokerage. So where Compass ends is essentially where we start. So today we're going to go on a journey together to really understand the 9 challenges of a low inventory market. Now, before we do this, how many people actually know the value of their time? Just hit yes in the chat box if you do. Because if you don't, this is something I would really like to start out with and make sure that every person that attends today walks away with this as well as many other things. So how many people know? Okay, so it's safe to say roughly 10%. So take a look at this chart here. So for every $100,000 you make, your time is worth about $47.60, so $48 an hour. If you're earning $500,000, this is just based on GCI, your time is worth $238 an hour. And one of the things that I would like you all to focus on is realizing how valuable you are and your time is. Because what you choose to invest your time in not only determines the quality of your business, it determines the quality of your life. You know, when you look at true success, it's being fulfilled both in your professional and personal life, right? So when you look at this chart, you want to start thinking about, what am I doing? What am I investing in? What is really worth my time? What is not worth my time? And ultimately, if I make the wrong decision in a client to work with, how many thousands of dollars of opportunity costs does that get you? Right? So when we look at our time and we want to watch an hour of Netflix, you have an idea of potentially what it's worth. And that could help you disconnect. If you go on your screen time on your cell phone and you look that you're spending 10, 12 hours a week on Instagram, that could be a very expensive habit. Right. So this is something that I really want everyone to focus on going forward. And we'll share this slide with everyone so they can actually keep this. And we'll also attach the math formula. So in going through the blueprint, it's really about a learning from reality program, right? It's my favorite Compass entrepreneurial principle. And really, in essence, where we got all this from is listening to all of you. On an average week, we work with over 1,000 different Compass agents. And the benefit is we can really listen to what's going on specifically at this brokerage from our clients, from the people we're coaching, and make actual solutions. So I wanted to take this time to introduce Kate Bauer, who is going to be my co-host today, and who's one of the main inspirations for this program. So Kate, we'll add her on, Deborah.
All set.
All right, so I want to introduce Kate. I actually met Kate at my New York City Accelerate event last year. Her and her mom are partners, and Kate is just a serial doer. She is in Westchester County, and she's one of the people that I find as the most coachable people. And what really makes her coachable is she shows up with an open mind, she's ready to listen, and if you're willing to give her a solution, she's willing to take action. But it wasn't always like this for Kate, because she had her set of challenges in this market. Kate? We unmute her.
Okay, I'm off. Yes, I've definitely had my challenges just like everybody, but that's why this is so much fun to be doing. And I wish that, I mean, we had this at the beginning, but I think that this is so well formulated at this point, because you've seen so many people that you coach have these same issues, that we've been able to like come up with this formula for everybody. And I just wish that I had this for a little bit cheaper than what I pay Chirag per hour for everybody else.
So in these challenges, kind of walk through these 4 challenges that you showed up with that we really had to like drill down for you. And I think these are representative of what every person has here.
Yeah, I'm sure we can all relate. So I think a huge one right now, not news to us anymore, is creating inventory. But I think that I'm probably not alone in saying that I don't want to be so pushy with like my sellers or my potential sellers. And a lot of them are like family friends or, you know, friends of family friends. So how can you do that in a really organic way where they're not like, okay, you know, I just saw Kate at a barbecue and now she's like pushing me, following up with me every day. So like, how can we make these really organic touches to them where when the time is right, or how can we formulate it to tell them that the time is right? So that's kind of the first one. The second one has been a really big thing for me, and I think a lot of us, but finding the right clients. And what I mean by that is no matter how nice they are, we are running businesses. And how can we find the right clients who are actually going to close and make us money at the end of the day? And I think it's really hard for us to actually know when it's time to just kind of, you know, cut it on that client or just delay them until there is a market that's good for them. Winning multiple offers. This has been a really big one. That's something I'm super excited to share kind of today, is how to prepare your clients for that. And then also the template for actually when it's time to present the offers for your clients. And seller objections. So kind of having your script ready. This has been one of the most helpful things for me, is knowing what the person or what the seller is going to say to you and having your answer prepared. So we don't sit there all the time being like, I don't know, you know, why should I defend my commission, or why can I offer you this, or why is this the right price? So really knowing how to say everything with a hard stop at the end, a period, so that someone really trusts you as your advisor and wants to pay you $50, $60, $100,000 in commission. So those have been
let me ask everyone a question. And if you're new here, you know I really like the chat box. Or if you have been here, and now you'll soon know. Hit yes if you could answer every single one of those things with confidence and knew how to do them. You could get at least one more deal. This is also a good way to see who's engaged and not engaged. We have a couple yeses. We have one no. Interesting. Sort of. How many people feel if they knew how to create inventory, knew how to close buyers that were off the fence, knew how to win multiple offer situations and handle objections, they felt if they knew how to do it with confidence, they could close one more deal? Oh, yes. I would hope so, right? Because, Kate, one of the things that I think about all the time is when you view something as a career versus a job.
Yes.
Right. So when you go into a career, you want to have a certain set of essential skills. And I was just talking about this on the last call. No matter what market you're in, you're going to have to deal with these in some formation. Right. And so as you've been doing this, you have been doing it successfully. And share your success story that you sent me that email about. Well, you sent that an email. And then you were excited to share with me a text that said, I've been taking these people out weekend after weekend, and go through that. How many weekends do you take these buyers out?
Well, first of all, I want to say that Sonia's on the call who referred me these clients. So hi, Sonia. I see this is about them. I'm not going to say their names, but yeah, like they have 3 kids, one who had, they had their newborn. I think the first weekend I actually ever took them out a few months ago. And it was just kind of like this weekend after weekend, I was frustrated. I could tell they were frustrated. It wasn't anything against one another. It's just like, it's a frustrating market. So I was like, you know what, how can I'm telling them, we can waive these certain things, or this is how you can get creative. But I just felt like, I don't know if they're really getting it or if I'm explaining it correctly. So what better than let me just make an email template that I can send to all future buyers and let me try it out. And I sent it to them and they were so appreciative. It was super helpful for them to really be able to see and be able to follow up and just kind of have like the words in front of them so that they could go to their mortgage broker, ask them follow-up questions and kind of do all this stuff. So it was pretty simple, but I just said that, in the top of it, Corinne and I, who's my mom, who I'm on a team with, we always say it's not always about the price, but it's about the terms. And here's what that kind of means. And here are your terms that you can kind of change up. And I called those tools. And I basically just isolated line by line about what this actually means, what the consequences are, and all that good stuff. And that weekend, after I sent the email, we had a really long conversation about it and we got a little bit personal on it too. They waived everything and we were super neck and neck with this other offer. They got the house of their dreams that I think they got such a great price for, even in this market. And they're in contract and they're so excited. And Sonia and I are so excited for them. So I think it really goes to show that when you just take the time to explain things and get a little bit creative with it, really, really great things can happen in this market, no matter how frustrating it is.
Well, here's what I hear, right? And I'll put my coaching hat back on. You had a challenge that you have to deal, and I think everyone has to deal with this pretty much in most parts of the country, but you had a plan, you had a process, and you were able to, and this is what I want you guys all to listen to really carefully too. She was able to help them understand in a way that was true, natural, not pushy to them, what they needed to do to win, right? Because, in the end, I always tell people a few things, right, Kate? Number one, it's always their choice. Whatever they decide to do is their choice.
Yeah.
Number two, you can't ever tell someone into how to think, feel, or to do something. Our job, number 3, is to be great facilitators, advisors, advocates, and help them get to a point where they feel good about taking the actions that you're sharing, correct?
Yeah.
And so before you did all of this and actually had a plan and we worked through doing this, what was it like?
Just so frustrating. I just felt like, there were certain people who kind of got it, but I kind of felt like any one of my buyers who weren't all cash, it was just, this same thing. And I don't know, whatever it's called, like being crazy is like, or whatever it is doing the same action over and over again. And I was just like, I know better than this. I know there must be a way to do it. And I finally just took the time. I was like, let's try this. And I also want to say that this email template is not exactly oh, every single time, great, clients are going to waive everything. I used this with people last weekend and they said, we actually don't feel comfortable and we lost out again, but it prompted a conversation that now led me to say, how many hours do I really want to invest with this buyer? I've given them all the tools. They've chosen not to use them. And I can't continue to, kind of waste my time on them, as hard as that is, nicest people in the world, but it just prompts that conversation to really find out where your buyers are at. Doesn't always mean you're going to get into contract. That was a success story, but that's also, I think, a great definition of success is being able to analyze it for yourself and say, should I keep working and investing that much time with these people?
And really in Kate and a lot of our other clients is what we built this program around. It's really to address the 9 challenges agents face in a low inventory market. So the first inventory issue or challenge you have is, how do you email cold leads without being salesy or pushy, right? And this really comes down to the science of writing cold emails, because every agent has the same fear. They don't want to be perceived as salesy, pushy. What happens if someone writes me a nasty message back? And in this first challenge, really, we work through is, how do you write these messages? How do you write marketing in a new style that is connective, collaborative, and makes people want to respond? And the nice part is that we have gone through this with hundreds of our clients. We literally just give you email templates, right? So if you think about the 3 principles of a great cold email, it's conversational, provides value, and it leaves them with intrigue, right? Conversational, provides value, and leaves them with intrigue. Because in the end, when you do that, even if you someone wrote me back an email that says, I don't know how you got my email. You weren't, I have no interest in selling my house. I could just turn around and say, hey, I completely understand. I was really excited to share blank and blank information, as a lot of people have benefited from it. Again, I'm really sorry to have sent you this email. I hope you and your family, or hope you're doing well. I'll make sure not to send you another email. But we want to give you emails to send, and we want to give you the rebuttals. So then you feel confident doing it, because one of the things that you think about a CRM, the words you want to think about is confidence, right? And their CRM is just like a big networking group. You want people in your group that you can actually network and feel good with, but likely to sell, convert 3 times higher than Zillow leads. And most people don't know that. I call likely to sell seller leads. So this first thing is all about how do you do this in an authentic way? Because if you knew how to do this, you'd be looking at that thing in there like free money, free money, free money, free money. And that is really good sources of inventory. But you won't take action, because guess what? We're real estate agents. We weren't taught to be marketers and funnel builders and conversion specialists. It's a whole different skill. So one of the things that you'll find in anything we do, it's not about what to do. Anyone could tell you what to do. You could go on YouTube and find out what to do. The secret is, how do you do it, giving you the steps and then reinforcing it with all the deliverables. So that's really the first section of this course. The second part is how to connect with your sphere and past clients on an ongoing basis. And this is really where we talk about the science of campaigning, right? Kate is going to share with you some of the different ways that we've done in this course that we'll share with you about. Kate, what are some of the different ways that you've seen that we've talked about that we're going to put into these sessions about marketing to people?
Yeah. Well, it's been really fun. I actually enjoyed this a lot more. I had a lot of anxiety about it at the beginning. Like, oh my God, talking to people after I just spent 5 months with them, that's a wild thing to do. And I decided to just kind of make a little bit of a calendar and do things that kind of felt really natural to me. So I love texting people. So I'll text them. Usually very simple things. How's the renovation going? How's this? Just kind of stay in contact with them. We did like a St. Patrick's Day card with a little lottery ticket in it. And this is all just this month. Birthdays are a big one. Home anniversaries, I do it like the first of the month so I can kind of plan it out. A big one that Chirag helped me come up with was prepare your home for like the new season. So we have prepare your home for spring tomorrow night, which a lot of clients are really excited for. I think those are like some of them, and there's so many more, but there's like so many really organic ways. You can like share market reports by just saying like, hey, here's an updated value, or asking them, would you like your value? Again, putting them back in the driver's seat. So I think anytime that you can get your client, like prompt your client to be in the driver's seat and ask you for information, it takes a lot of like that salesy pressure off of them.
And so in doing this, what we wanted to focus on was how to do campaigning, right? When you look at the best brands in the world, they're not sending isolated emails. We're going to give you pre-written emails, text messages, phone scripts to actually campaign to people, right? How do I make a marketing calendar? I ask people all the time, like, what's your marketing calendar? How do you really market to the different segments of your database? And people look at me with this blank stare, right? It's like watching a TV episode that one time the episode was on Monday at 5, the next week it was Tuesday at 3. People don't realize that confuses people. And to you, a lot of agents operate on crisis care. Oh my God, I heard something in a training. Let's send a newsletter. But you just want to be a continuous story. And there's a way to do this to create a narrative that people want to send you inventory and ultimately want to want to share what you're doing with other people. Now, challenge number 3, and hit yes in the chat box if you want to know exactly how to build an agent referral network, not only nationally at Compass, but locally in your market. So people just start sending you listings when they have them prior to going on the market. There it comes. So in this one of the things that people don't realize is 85% of properties are co-broked with another agent. In a low inventory market, marketing and connecting with agents, both at Compass and in your local market, is imperative, right? Because if an agent refers you a client, it's different than a cold email, postcards, or anything else to do. But also there's a multiplier here, right? So when Compass became #1, they said they did it within 10 years. What I realized is that I've been at this company 40% of its entire existence. I work with a lot of the top agents in the country. I've worked with sales managers. I've worked with our leadership team. And why does that matter to you? Is because I can tell you what the best agents here are doing to grow their businesses, right? I know there's certain agents on this call that in the first quarter have got 20 referrals from other Compass agents. I also know other agents. I also know other agents that market to other agents locally and have built relationships that way. And they get their clients off market exclusives before they even come to the market. But again, it comes down to what do you do? How do you do it? What do you say? And we're going to show you how to build these relationships, right? And the framework you'll get from this workshop and this session will be something that you could use at local retreats and anywhere you go. But if you have not added on where you're getting like at least 2 to 4 referrals from Compass agents a year, you're definitely leaving money on the table. Now, this is the best one: how to get buyers to actively listen to you and take your advice on the market, or as we call it, the talk, right? It's understanding how to establish control of a situation. And what you need to do is not tell your buyers about the market. You need to help them understand the market, right? So here's a couple things that you'll want to write down in this talk. And these are things that you can use right away. Number 1, before you get into the market, a buyer comes to you, and Kate, you could be a buyer, and you could be the typical buyer that says, I know what the market is. I don't want to overpay, but I still want to buy a house, right? Is that what you hear most of the time?
Love to hear that all the time. Yep.
So I would say, that's great. So Kate, what are your expectations and goals in this market?
I'd really like to not overpay. I'd like to do it somewhat quickly. I'm getting out of a lease in a few months. And I think those are like the main things. And then like a kind of unrealistic price point for, one of the best school districts in my market.
Great. And I would say, all right, so I hear that you have a specified time frame that you want to move, and that overpaying is something you don't want to do. And I'm sure that would not make anyone feel great, correct?
Correct.
And can either one of us control what other buyers are willing to pay for homes?
I don't think so.
And based on your expectations and goals, do you with certainty feel that buyers that are closing on houses at the prices that you've seen on the internet are all overpaying for homes?
Yeah, for the most part.
Great. And so, I know your time is very valuable, Kate. Given that information, what makes this the right market for you to buy a home, considering that you feel that everyone's overpaying?
Well, my kids are getting older. Our 800 square feet for 3 kids isn't really working out too well. Really like to get out. A lot of my friends have moved out in the past 2 years. Kind of all those things.
Exactly. So then look, this is where the conversation keeps going. And we would say, look, Kate, let's go through the market together, and let's go through a variety of options. And regardless of what you do, I'll support you 100%, but let's see really what's right for you. Right. And this is a very subjective conversation where at any point, Kate, did I tell you what the market was?
No.
Did I dictate to you how to think, feel, or what you have to do?
No.
Would this way help you get to your own conclusion of what the market is?
Yes.
So if you write these words down, can either one of us control what other buyers are willing to pay for homes? Right? That literally, it's like it's a steam cooker that takes all the pressure out of it. Right? The next part is that given you feel that anyone closing on a home is overpaying, what makes this the right time for you to buy? Or why would you want to buy? Or why would you want to go out knowing that? Right? It's helping them understand this in their own words. Because look, buying a home is a choice. Writing an offer that will make you win is a choice, right? Going out knowing that you think everyone's overpaying. People are overpaying. The market is completely inflated. It's been going up 24 straight months almost in most areas of the country. So the only deal you're going to get is winning a home, right? So the next part of this comes down to how do you share the comps in the current market with your clients so they're inspired to write winning offers? So this is really the science of psychology meets, people call it sales. I call it having effective conversations. Now, Kate, if you say something in your own words, is that very different than if I just tell it to you?
I think so. Because I'm in the driver's seat.
Exactly. So you want them to feel like they're in control. So I'll give you an example. If I turned around to you and I said, you know what, Kate, homes in the neighborhood that you're looking in this school district are selling in an average of 6 days at 120% above asking. So $1 million house is selling for $1.2 million. And if you want to win one of these homes, you have to be very competitive and aggressive. Does this sound like something an agent would say to somebody?
Yes. I've said
And
it
what do you,
to people before coaching with you.
And what is the response of your clients?
I think they usually want to run the other way and say, this is a lot of pressure.
Exactly. So, but they don't hear it all, right? So
Yeah.
Everyone write this down. When we're sharing the market or expertise with anyone, this is what we call perceived value. Perceived value is the value we perceive that we're giving through someone else through our communication, our expertise, and our job. Now, here's the key though. On the other side, actualized value is the value that people feel they're receiving from you based on your knowledge and what they understand that they got. So if Kate thinks she's done a really good job educating me on the market and I don't understand anything that she's saying, I feel overwhelmed, and now I feel like I'm being told I have to overpay for a home, they didn't actualize any value, right? That's why a lot of times when you go on listing pitches, you think you gave the greatest pitch in the world and they could list with somebody else. And it didn't matter what the other person's offering, the other party just actualized more value in what they said because you probably talked really fast and were confusing. Right. So when we talk about the market and you explain comps to somebody, there's like a psychology and science to this, where when you're sharing something with someone, I'm going to say, how many days did that sell in? 4 days. And then you want to ask them another question. Do you think that's more, did that sell faster or slower than anticipated? Oh, no, much faster, right? Because when you actually go through the comps, Kate, isn't it much faster and more competitive than the people even think coming in?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to ask them this question next, like, do you feel that that makes the market very competitive? Yes, it does make it more competitive. Then I go to the next one. This is the list price to sales price, right? At what percentage are buyers paying for homes in this neighborhood? 120%. Kate, so you're saying that people are paying 20% above asking? Yes. And what was the total sales price? 1.2 million. So if I understand this from what we went through in the market, homes are selling in 4 days, which is competitive, and buyers are paying 20% above, which is equal to $200,000. They would say yes. Now, here's where the question comes in. What would you offer on this same exact home and why? Now, this is how you get your clients. This is where you get them kind of show them, right? It's kind of like all in, show me your cards. And at this point, you can start walking people through how this all works, right? So in this session, this is what it's all about. Like, this is that one skill. If you knew how to do this, you could do God knows how many more transactions, at least one more transaction a year. But everything we give you is with a script, the roadmap, and the plan, right? I'm smart enough to know as a coach that if I don't provide you all this stuff, I'm not doing you any favors in life, right? It's not about what you learn, it's about what you do. And we believe that people should learn these skills, learn them one time, own them, and then focus their time, their efforts, their resources, their money, and investing into other things. Because every one of these skills that we've shared so far should be the core skills that every agent learns when they get in the business. The amount of money and time that agents have lost year after year by not being able to answer these simple questions, to me is very concerning. because this is a time to make a shift and a pivot away from just doing things the same way, right? I always say people that are coachable ask how, people that are uncoachable ask why. This is the how to do everything, right? The next session is how do you win multiple offers? And multiple offers today is one, the education process prior is I would say to, let's see who's here. I would say to Jennifer Pickett, hey, Jennifer, has anyone taken the time with you to share with you how multiple offers work and potentially what a winning strategy would look like before you ever go out for a house? Kate, how overwhelming is it for a buyer when you find a house? Now you're like, okay, you got to waive all the contingencies. You got to have your pre-approval. You got to have your attorney lined up. You got to be ready to open escrow. And it's all happening really fast. If you don't do this really fast, you're not going to get a house. Is that a good experience?
No, not for anybody
No.
either. Not for us on the other side either.
Yeah. Imagine when the car dealer is like, buy it now, right? It's not very exciting because no one actually explained to you what you're going to get and how's it going to go. So one of the other things that you want to think about is how many people hit yes in the box that they actually have a multiple offer template that they use, right? An actual strategy and plan that not only thinks about like writing a great offer, but actually has psychology involved in it to position your buyers and clients in a certain way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need one. I see some of these people are our clients that have them. This is good that they're using this stuff. No. So in this section, we actually provide you a multiple offer template, right? So, and Kate will touch upon a little bit on the template, but we want to make sure that we give you a template and that we want to walk you through how to do it, what questions you ask the listing agent, what to send, when to send it, how to get the information for your clients. And I know using this as an agent, I had a very high success rate. And I think I would say in the last 24 months, there have been 2 clients that were really close friends of mine that forced me into selling them a house. And both times they had multiple offers, I used this template at one. One time they had 5 offers and the other time they had 3 offers, right? There's a lot of psychology that goes into this. And there's a concept called transactional bartering, right? Transactional bartering is actually the most ineffective way of negotiating. It's literally when you take a position on somebody's home, right? A home is filled for most people with emotion and memories, and it means so much more to them. But when you send an offer, it's generally with a date, a purchase price, a down payment, a closing time, maybe an attorney, maybe an escrow company, but it's very limited. How much does a person actually really know? So you've effectively just taken a position on their most valuable asset that has lots of emotion to them, right? Like imagine someone was buying your house and all you had was 2 pieces of paper, one that had an offer on it and one that had a bank on it. You don't even know who the lender is. Like, why does this guy say that Kate could buy a house for $2 million? Who are they? What information do they have? What are their credit scores? There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, Kate.
Yeah, no, I mean, this has been game changer in between the email template that I can send out to my clients to kind of get them to understand. And then also actually presenting it with this. I also always send like my clients a copy of the offer and they're like very impressed by it. Like you really look like you have your stuff together, and being on like the receiving side of it too, at least in my market, no one sends it. Like I'm lucky if I even get a PDF of like an offer. It's usually just written out in the email. It's so good, like complete game changer.
How to get sellers to view you as an advocate partner and listen to your professional advice. So in novels, there's a protagonist and an antagonist. The protagonist helps you get what you want, and an antagonist is essentially working against you, right? And there's a concept that we like to do, and I'm a big believer in framing, right? Framing in sales or in effective conversations, I would say, is setting something up with a context that somebody already agrees to, right? So I'll give you an example. If I was to show you, if I said to you, Jennifer Pickett, just because I have limited tiles here, so I'm just going to use you as an example. If I said to Jennifer, my business runs Monday through Saturday. I'm only available till 7 p.m. If you want to make an appointment with me, this is how you do it. And I'm not available on this day. And this is kind of how I work. Would that ever feel good to anybody? Do you think any client would ever agree to that? Ouch. Now, watch this. If I frame the conversation and I said, hey, Jennifer, quick question. If you were getting your phone service, would you ever drop it off to a place where you didn't know what days of the week the business was open? No. Would you ever drop it off to a place where you didn't know what the business hours were? Something as simple as your cell phone, would you want to work with a place where if you had to make an after hours appointment because you're a business professional, they had no policy or no clear communication about it? Nope. And if they, and given that you have your phone, you might need information, wouldn't you feel comfortable or would not feel comfortable with a business that didn't have any emergency contact information? Like if something went wrong, you'd have a way to reach them. Would you like to have that kind of experience? No, no. Yes, as you'd like it, right? So at the end, I would then frame a conversation that way. And I would say, I hear what you're saying. That's something so simple as your cell phone. Now, I want to make sure when you're investing, whatever your commission rate is, $100,000+, $50,000 into selling your most valuable asset, that you don't have that experience. And then I could go through a communication plan that sets boundaries. But now they've agreed to not dropping their cell phone off like that. So your service and your communication plan sounds very different. So in this section of the course, we go through the concept of what you can control, what I can control, and what no one can control. Right? Just like we had the line of, can either one of us control what other buyers are willing to pay for homes? It's a really simple line. Can either one of us control the choices your neighbors are willing, or the choices your neighbor makes on the prices they're willing to accept for their home? No. So then after that, how can they ever be mad at you? You ever have clients get mad at you when you tell them what their other neighbors sold the house for? All the time, right? Like they're looking at you like you make up the inventory, you make up the price, you choose who moves. You have nothing to do with any of this. But what you do control is how you talk about it, right? So I would say to Jennifer, I said, look, it's really simple. In this transaction, I just want to align on this. There are things that you can control, things that I can control, and things no one can control. What can a seller control? Price, marketing, condition, accessibility. What can I control? I can control marketing, advertising, the visual story your home tells, the process in which we negotiate, and communication and customer service. What can no one can control? Can either one of us control the local economy? No. Can either of us control world events? No. Can any of us control the interest rates? No. Can any of us control, and then you go through the thing again, the choices your neighbors, the prices your neighbors are willing to accept for their homes? No. So effectively, it's what you can control and what I can control working against what no one can control. So now you've created an antagonist in the market. And when you're able to do this, and then you start going through your presentation and you start talking about comps, you guys are partners and you're advocates, and they're going to want to take your advice. So when they start complaining about something, you can just nicely smile and say, I know that's very frustrating because it's something neither one of us can control. And you're no longer explaining it. This creates an entire new dynamic. And if you know how to do this, your job becomes so easy, because the people that can't understand this generally are bad clients. What to do when someone wants to overprice the listing? Does anyone know what to say to somebody every single time that gets them back to where you want them to be, or you could just walk away? This is like a magic trick. So remember what I said about protagonists and antagonists? How do you get somebody to be on your side when you're telling them their house is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially less? Have you ever noticed all the people that want to overprice generally have dated homes that want the same prices as updated homes? Hit yes if that's generally what comes up. So here's what you want to do. There's a process of doing this. And again, we'll walk you through all of this in detail. I'm going through this relatively quickly just to give you an idea, because, in looking at a course and considering making an investment of your time and money into something, you really want to get an idea of what am I going to get, right? What am I going to walk away with it? What can I do? And how's this going to impact me? Not today, but I want you to think about today, tomorrow, and in the future, right? And so what I would say to them is I always bring a notepad, and you start down by getting them to agree. So you feel that we could potentially get this value because you've done everything right up until this point. You feel good about it. And they're like, the comps say that your house should be worth 1.2, and now they want 1.5, like the updated comps. So at this point, you're like, oh shoot, like, what do I do now? Like I listened to all the stuff that he said, like, where do I go from here? And you're going to say, You're going to smile and you're going to say, so what I hear you saying is based on our marketing, you feel that because of our marketing plan and the things that we can offer as an agent, that all the exposure we get can get you a higher price than anybody else. And they're going to say yes, right? Because they want you to overprice their home and they want you to sell them the dream that the house is actually going to sell at that price. Now, here's what you do. You're going to say, great, I brought my notepad over. And as I said before, it's what you can control and what I can control against what no one can control. We need to be able to justify the price to agents and buyers when they come to the home. So let's walk around and make a list of all the specific upgrades you have, how much they cost, so I can share that with agents and ultimately their clients to justify the value of your home, because you said that you put a lot of extra things in there that really aren't covered on here. And if you walk around the house and do this with somebody, right, they will never, I've never had anyone have this in my life, knock on wood, is over thousands of coaching sessions. I've been doing over 10,000 hours just at Compass with the agents here. I've never had an agent do this and be like, holy crap, Chirag, like they actually made up the number. So in the end, you're going to start adding the number up, and then you sit down with them and you're going to say, okay, the difference between the comps and this is $300,000. If you were a buyer and I handed you the list, would you pay this much money more? No. And then the question is, if these are your upgrades, is it fair to say that we would have to upgrade your kitchen to match the other one? Well, how much do you think that would cost? And walking through someone through this exercise is a very polite way of doing this, instead of saying, well, the comps say this and buyers are going to pay this and this house has to appraise. That's just being combative, that's telling, that's being pushy, and that's not being their advocate. So this is an opportunity to get them to buy into you. Someone said, can I have the recording to this session? Someone wants to buy into you and your marketing and your program of what you offer, and then ultimately being their advocate. So the ninth challenge is this: defending your commission. This is something, if you can't do this, you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think about your average sales price, what 1% costs you a year, right? So if you did this, how much money would you save each year? Now watch this, Kate. Let's show what defending commission is like.
Okay.
You've gone through the thing, and you could be the seller. You could give me any commission objection of someone that's going to do the same thing for 1%. That's really the objection list.
Right. So, this market's really crazy. My neighbor's house, like the comps you're showing me, sold in 4 days. So please tell me why you think that I should pay you your full 3%. I don't know if it's really worth it. You're really only working for 4 days. Can we maybe have 1% off because of the market?
So in this case, you met with another agent, you didn't meet with another agent?
I have not met with another agent, but I know that you're going to sell it much quicker, because I think this is one that people get to. Other people meet with sellers, but I think another good one is you're going to sell it so quick. So you're really going to make $50,000 in 4 days.
So here's the asterisk on this one. When you're going through this and they haven't met other agents, do you know what you need to talk about before you even get to this commission objection? Someone put in the chat if they know how you seed this throughout your presentation. I don't even think you know this one. This is new. Anybody? Is dealing with 25 different offers easy? No, right? So what you need to do in your pitch now is let people know, have you thought about what it's like to deal with 25 offers, and talk about them with it, right? If you had 10 offers, how would you choose? How do you know what's most valuable? Who would you count on to do that for you? If you got it right, what could that mean for you? If you got it wrong, what could that mean to you? Right? Like that's literally the conversation, right? But even if they're doing this, right, I would say, great, like what I hear you saying is you want to maximize the value of your home, correct?
Correct.
And what it sounds like you're focused on is the commission.
Yes,
correct?
Very focused, trying to really get as much money as I can.
Absolutely. Now, look, Kate, whatever you do, I'm going to give you a couple different options, and whatever you decide to do, I support you 100%.
Thank you. Appreciate
How
that.
How many things can you focus on at once?
Usually just one.
One, so look, this is ultimately the choice you have. I'd take a piece of paper, I'd write it out. Say your house was $1 million. I would write $1 million big, and I'd write the word or, and I'd make that really small, right? And I could say, and I'd put $10,000. And I could say, look, you can choose to maximize the $1 million and work with an agent like myself, or you could be focused on how you can save $10,000. And let me ask you, Kate, in the hottest market we've ever seen in our lifetimes, what do you think is better, the focus on how to maximize your return or how you can save $10,000?
I think maximizing is the best option.
And if the people, this is for everybody on here, because if you know me well, you know that I care about you having good quality of life. If someone is just focused on saving money and they have no interest in maximizing money, they're not the good client. They're going to own you. They're not going to be nice to you because they're going to hold over your head that anyone can do this. You're doing this for commission. They don't see value. This isn't, someone wrote, love this. This is exactly what our course is all about. I wish when I started in real estate 13 years ago or 2006, that somebody taught me this. Because if I knew how to do this in every different scenario, I would make hundreds of thousands of dollars more the rest of my life. And by the way, when you're competing with other people, there is nothing that we've ever said in any of this that's like pushy, combative, or anything else like that. This is the most authentic way to communicate with people. If you need business, that's what we're going to show you in section 1, right? So let's show you what's in the course, right? Like this is, I've given you a good idea of what it is. Kate, you want to pull up your buyer template just to walk people through this, and then we'll walk people through the course.
Sure. All right. So really quickly to pull it up in my sent, because I've sent this to, I don't know, hundreds of agents in the past day or so. So, okay. I can share, right? All right. Can you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the email I was talking about at the beginning. So it basically looks something like this. So this is like from what I sent it to other agents, but hello, enter your client's name, really simple. I'd like to share with you some tools that you can use to become a winning buyer in this market. You may have heard Corinne and I say, it's not always about the price, but the terms of an offer that can be the deciding factor. So what are these so-called terms? Think of terms as your tools, and we can mix and match the tools depending on the property. But before we do so, I want to make sure you have a good understanding of what each of these tools do. And then I go through, and here I put 5, and in everyone's market, it could be very different. This is Westchester based. Write a little bit of a description of what it means in the context of your own market. Say what, some of the risks can be, but again, in our market, attorneys really deal with that. So my job is just to, kind of share with them what these definitions are. And then at the end of it, I said, if you'd like to discuss any of these tools further, please do not hesitate to give us a call. All of them did. And we're here for you in this ever-changing market and been able to guide many buyers to the finish line. Let's get you there too. So a really positive spin on it, nothing scary about this. It prompted everybody to call us, and we had a really good conversation. It wasn't like a pressure cooker conversation. It was just, hey, here are your options. Let's talk through them. Use the hammer, use the this, and let's see if we can get somewhere with this. Really fun and really helpful for us.
So when you start thinking about like impact, right? This is what I believe the most valuable course I've ever created. And I'm most excited to share this, right? And if you've been here a while, I've done Pitch and Compass, I've made multiple retreat presentations. We've done a 500-person event. We have a 1,000-person event coming up in Boston. There's no shortage of content we've made. But when I think about this, this is what will be most impactful for people. It's really the blueprint. And the blueprint really gives you a plan, right? When you're building a house, you need a blueprint because it tells you exactly what to do. And again, it breaks it down into 3 sections: finding inventory, working with sellers in a low inventory market, and working with the buyers in a low inventory market. And these skills are core skills that you will keep, but they change in only the market changes, right? So in getting a deal, if all of a sudden we have a surplus of inventory, it's the same conversation, just in a different way. Now, how do we think about breaking down these sessions, right? It's a 30-minute workshop with 15 minutes of Q&A and implementation. Like I said to you in the beginning, and anyone that coaches with me knows, I don't care what you learn. I don't care if you show up. Well, I do care if you show up, but what I care most about is that you actually are able to apply this in your life. Because coaching is only successful if your life and business are getting better at the same time. Either one could happen by accident, both of them happen on purpose. And then we have an implementation session. We've heard from feedback between our 10 by 10 group, which is over 500 agents, and our group coaching that we do is hundreds of agents. A lot of the content could be a lot, like we need time to implement, right? So every fourth week, when we're done with the section, it's an implementation section. It's how do you actually learn to apply this into your business? So it's time blocked, it becomes a habit, and you have people to do this with, right? This is not fun doing this by yourself. And if you don't practice, you're going to end up in the same situation here and now. So quickly, this is a rundown. Each one of those challenges equals sessions in here, right? The perfect outreach, creating inventory with your database, building agent relationships. Remember those 3 challenges. Then there's the implementation session. Same thing, working with buyers, getting buyers to accept the market, part 1 and 2. I showed you kind of a teaser of what that looks like, and winning multiple offers. And then there's an implementation session. And now the last part's working with sellers, getting them to your price, defending commission, and ultimately your seller toolbox and an implementation section. Now, one of the things that we have that's really exciting here is accountability groups, right? Kate's running an accountability group. There's people all around the country doing this. And the part that's exciting for our team is when you can lock a group of the best agents in the country who are all committed to growth for 90 days, which is just the 12 weeks of this program. It's very easy for us to add multipliers on here of scripts and role plays and accountability sessions and open prospecting sessions that are all led with your colleagues, right? So helping you network with other people in the group, learn, collaborate, and grow together and really build those relationships is a big part. So it's a 12-week program, right? Thursdays, we give 2 options with the same exact content. It's 9 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We find in our group in doing this, some people come twice because they really just want to learn it. They're committed to it for over those 12 weeks. Now, they'll all be 45 minutes. And here's one really important part. All of the sessions are recorded, but I will give you the sessions forever. So it's not like you have access to the program just for the time is here. And if we run this program in the future, this is something new we're doing. If we run a blueprint, which we will again with updated content, you'll have access to the next set of blueprint for free. So if you're signing up now in our inaugural group, as many times as we run this, you can keep coming back. And we wanted to make this something that literally every single agent could do, right? It's 3 payments of $497 or 1 payment of $1197. It is very, very simple. And if you pay in full, which most people have, it comes out to like a little less than $100 a session. It's a pretty simple process to get a lot of the core skills you need. Because the way that I thought about this is, what would the financial impact be for an agent if they could do one thing from any of these sessions? What would it be today? What would it be tomorrow? What would it be in the future? We're going to put the sign up link in the chat, and we encourage you to start taking action. If you're sitting here and you found any of those 9 things compelling, you should sign up. If this is financially in a place where it's completely unaffordable to you, please send me an email, because I truly believe everyone wants this and everyone needs this. And look, at the end of this, if you attend all 90 days and 12 sessions and didn't find a return on your investment, I'll refund your money back. We've done this for 500 agents in an event in Brooklyn, hundreds of our clients in group coaching. No one has ever asked for a refund. So here's how you guys sign up. And if you do sign up, we have a perfect pitch course, which is a 20+ video course on how to deliver a listing pitch. And that you'll have lifetime access to as well. We've never released the videos. It's not something we plan on releasing relatively anytime soon, but we also know people need something right now. So I encourage you all right now to go and sign up. The website's here, the link is here. We start in next Thursday.
So worth it, guys. If I can just chime in for a second, I pay Chirag $1,000 an hour and have never once in my life regretted it. Like, the best thing you can ever do. And I'm like a pretty cynical person. I didn't really know what to think when I started coaching with him. Best thing ever. And I feel so prepared every single day getting up. It's so fun. And it's so fun learning from each other. Like, definitely sign up for the accountability group. I'll be running one. And I love making this stuff. Like, every other week I bring something to Chirag. I'm like, look at this, look at this, look at this template. So I'll share all that with you guys, and It'll be really fun to do it all together. It's like such a steal. In the least salesy way possible, do this. You will not regret it.
You can do, someone said I'm on the West Coast. You can come to either time. It's open for everybody. A lot of the West Coast people come to the East Coast sessions to network with people.
Yeah.
You'll have the recordings if you are on vacation. They'll have lifetime recordings. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. If anyone signed up, hit yes. And I think a few people have said that they're in. So that's exciting. If you have any concerns, I'm happy to stay on for the next 5-10 minutes to answer them, right? Because if you're sitting here now and there's about 150 plus people sitting here, you're wondering, should I do this? Am I considering this? Why? What can I lose doing this? If you're sitting here, you're compelled to do this, and I'm compelled to ask you to consider it, right? I'm not a pushy salesperson. I'm really not. I think everyone should want to do this because they want their life to get better. And like one of the things that I think about most when I thought of this course is how challenging your life is, right? You literally wake up every day, and from the day your day is in for, your day works for everyone else but you. And to find a community of people and actually know what to say, what to do, and everything else is the difference in growth. The other people that are not here are not practicing any of this works, right? They're just sitting there doing the same thing. As Kate said, it's insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again.
That's what it was.
And look, if you feel like there's any risk, just attend the 12 sessions. And at the end of the 12 sessions, you can call me up and say, Chirag, this was terrible. Great, we'll give you your money back. I've never had anyone complain about our coursework.
He's the most direct person. You can really be like, this sucked, and get your money back.
I'm not going to hurt my feelings.
No, it's very hard to hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does anyone have any questions?
I saw a few questions of if they have a team, can the team members?
If someone has a team, send me an email and there's team pricing, right? It's $2,500 for your whole team. It's one payment and you could sign everybody up, and we're not looking at like individual head counts or anything like that.
And yes, people are asking me if I do actually pay $1,000 an hour. Yes, for individual coaching, which is the best investment ever. So how many hours do you get of this whole thing?
You get 12 hours.
12 hours. I should just do this. Should we just stop coaching individually? I'll just do this instead.
You can. I can't promise you'll get your slot back.
I know.
You're gonna be sending Deborah angry emails. So if you're partners, if you have any questions, just email Deborah and she'll work through this with you. So when someone said, is this a difference between core? Like, look, Compass is the operating system for my entire coaching program, right? As you can see, like I do the accountability sessions with Robert. I've worked with a lot of people in leadership, and I make sure that what we're doing is a direct extension of what you do at Compass. I always know what you're getting there for free. And I don't ever want to charge somebody for something they could get at Compass for free. You should get what you get at the brokerage and come here for what's next, right? Like, and if you think about core and a lot of these other classes, what they're going to teach you to do is technology will help you be productive. It'll help you be organized. It'll help you get clients. This will teach you how to turn your clients into paychecks, right? Because unless you know the phonetical skills of working as a real estate agent, handling objections, working with buyers. Like, look, Kate even said those buyers seemed unrealistic until she had to talk with them. And that turned into a commission check. So look at that. So if I was an agent and I was considering this, these are the things I think about, because there's still about 100 some odd people here pondering. Number one, I would think about the value of your time. Number two, I would ask myself, if I was able to master one of these skills in the next 12 weeks, what would the financial impact be on my business in this year and compound it over time? Number three, I'd ask myself the question, what is the cost of not doing this, right? If you think about the cost of a bad client, it's a lot more than $1,200, a lot more. Think about an average buyer you go out with. You have the initial meeting, you have a follow-up email, you're setting up a collection, updating a collection, setting up property, reviewing the property, their phone calls, their emails, their text messages. Today, having the wrong clients is more expensive than it ever was before. And Kate is going to be running an accountability group, so she will come up with more ninja things. So if you do sign up and you do want to be in her group, we'll send something out. And once a week, she'll be running a separate session. And as you can see, she spent a lot of time of her own learning about this program and all the different nuances so she could be a great accountability person. If you meet Kate, Kate refers to herself as like a coach's pet. She goes, if you tell me to do it, I'll just do it. So when you ask her if she wants to do an accountability session, she takes it very seriously.
Yeah.
So if anyone else, I'll stay on here. If anyone has any other questions, I'll put the link in here one more time. And I encourage you guys all to sign up. We start next Thursday. And this is all the Compass is about, right? There's different sales managers taking this in different regions. So you have an opportunity to network with sales managers. You have different agents taking it, team leaders taking it. If you have admins, I suggest your admins go through this program because your admins will then actually understand what you do as a real estate agent, right? And the admin seat is free. If you sign up, you don't have to pay extra money for your admin. It's included. Is there... No, you can't use your 10 by 10 money to pay for this course. It's starting before. The 10 by 10 will have a marketplace that's opening up on May 3rd. And on May 3rd, we'll have different programming that's coming out and that we're working with Compass on launching. Any questions? As many people could be in her session. So Kate is working with me individually and I'm helping her run the session. Each week, her and I have a standing meeting to go through what the content is, how to do it and everything else. So there is no limit, right? It'll be a very structured process.
Yes. And if you want to join it, just be aware I'm like a hyper executor. So we will be getting things done. It's not just going to be me like talking at you, like we're going to do things during that session. So it'll be a very worth it hour, half hour, however long it is.
Asha, there's a time deadline to sign up, I believe is by next Wednesday, but if you're considering it, I would sign up now. And if you ultimately have to back out, then you can back out, that's fine. April 6th is the deadline. Okay. I don't keep deadlines here.
A lot of requests will be in the accountability group. So they'll like get a link or a sign up.
Yeah, we will. So for everyone that's part of the course, we will send a link out to anyone that wants to join her accountability group. So Kate will be working with me to create additional templates and stuff like that. We're a big, like, LFR, learning from reality, and we'll keep updating you with stuff that we have. And we've already made in the course all of our own email templates, scripts. We have a whole community platform that houses all these videos and a forum where you could network and collaborate with other people. Someone asked what we're doing in Boston. We have a live event in Boston on May 3rd and 4th, if you'd like to join. Do we have to sign up to get the email template? No, Martha, you don't have to sign up to get an email template. We're not gimmicky in that way. We hope if you like the email template to use the template and have the conversations. I would highly recommend that you come into the course so you have all the specifics that do it.
And get all the other templates that we might not even have done yet, but we create how many per week? We're like, I'll shoot them a text like, let's make this, let's do that.
So the scripts and templates, will give them to you as we're going through the course because it gets very confusing if we give them to you ahead of time, right? How adaptable these tools to the differences in various markets. They're pretty adaptable in the sense that I have to work with agents in 26, I believe, different states. So we've gotten pretty good at making this. And ideally, the way that we think about this is if you can use this in the ultra high end, it works everywhere. The multiple offer template is part of the course. So Kate will happily share this. So if anyone else will drop the sign up link in here, Deborah from my team will stay on here for a couple minutes. Denise will email, and Deborah can answer any questions. If you have questions, Deborah, drop your email in here. Someone had an issue with their credit card, or we could reach out to her. It's Denise Raffio in Winter Park, Florida. Yes, so the course will work very well for someone who just joined Compass. Listen, like I said to you, we talk about what you have to do, how you have to do it. If you're stuck on some of this stuff, we're never going to talk about something that leaves someone completely in the dark. So if we tell you to use a tool, we're going to tell you all the buttons to click, which buttons to click, what they do, why they do it, and how they need to do it in context of what we're teaching.
Screen recordings, everything.
And if you just joined and you have a challenge, we have another batch of training videos that we just made on the tools recently. If you sign up, just email me and we'll get you access to those as well. And while Deb, you can stay on to answer any questions. Kate, I'm sure she'll stay on because she likes talking to people as well.
Love you guys.
I'm going to hop off, and Deb, stay on here for a little bit, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
All right, Deb, I'll stay on with you, see if there's anything I can answer.
All right, guys, for those of you who are still here, if you do have any questions, we're here, so we're happy to answer. I have dropped the link again in the chat box if anybody needs it to sign up. So if there are any questions, otherwise, we really appreciate that you guys took the time to be here with us today. Thank you to Kate for a great session. And I think you guys did get a lot of great information just out of this webinar alone. And we will be following up. Everyone will get a recording and some of the items we did talk about today. So if there are no more questions, we will end the call. If you do sign up, yes, you can get a receipt for that payment.
I think someone else, Deb, had said that like they were having card issues, so they can reach out to you too.
Yeah,
right?
reach out to me. I'm going to drop my email in the chat again.
Yes, you guys will get the email template from today, but I guess if you want all of our future email templates,
that will be if you sign up.
Yes.
Sia, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Is this going to be housed in what we have for the accountability group? Not accountability, GCI. Yeah, for accelerator.
It will be on the community platform. If you've already joined that community platform, the 2022 blueprint will be, the recordings will be housed there.
So with all those, the GCI Accelerate, we have access to the 10 by 10 in that community platform. If we were in the other courses, that's the one.
If you weren't part of 10 by 10, you don't have access to the 10 by 10.
But if you are, my question.
Yeah, if you are a part of those different groups, then you would have access, of course.
Okay, perfect. That's all right. So it's in one spot. That's so if I need to
everything, exactly. Everything is in one spot. It's all housed under one roof. It's just different access levels.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah. Time, but just want to know if we can pay. As Chirag mentioned, this cannot be paid with 10 by 10 funds. The 10 by 10 challenge is just ending, and Compass is opening up a marketplace in May, and there'll be offerings in that marketplace from the different coaching companies, ours included. And that is where you can use your 10 by 10 funds. So this blueprint print program is not part of that. So thank you for that question. And for those of you who are participating in 10 by 10 who are still on this call, yes, this program is not part of that. Did you say the session recording? Yes, the session today, we are recording it and we will send it out as a follow-up for anyone who missed part of this and for anyone who missed all of it and wants to have that information. Yes, we will be doing that. Okay. If nobody else has a question, I think we're down to the last few people. I'll just drop the link in the chat one more time for those of you who maybe still didn't grab it. And we thank you guys for hanging out with us, and hopefully look forward to seeing you next week. Thursday, April 7th is the first blueprint. Again, we have it at 2 times, 9 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Pacific. As Chirag mentioned, both sessions will be the same content. So you can come obviously to one or both if you choose. It's a great networking opportunity, if nothing else. If you have the time to attend both sessions, you'll meet other Compass agents from across the country and you can, network. So Kate, thanks again for all your help and participation. And thank you guys. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Bye guys. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.